Yeah. So even, here we are at the landing page, and I can. My favorite thing is y'all might be able to see it. You can see these little embers popping.
Yeah, the little embers.
That wasn't necessarily kind of our idea, but just kind of seeing that kind of pop off is kind of cool. But you can go to the website Bonfire.win. You can see the landing page. Obviously the dApp's turned off and all that stuff. But go through that. And you can kind of go on down and kind of read through that. I won't really spend time doing that. This login thing, that's just because this one's a test site. It'll go away. But yeah, if you go to the dApp, this is what you're going to see. It's going to look familiar to some others, and it's going to look very different in a lot of other places too. And I'll just do kind of a scroll down, and we'll kind of come back and maybe talk about maybe how the white paper's involved in that, right?
Yep.
So you're scrolling down. You've got the normal things about your cycle details and such. We're on day 76. This thing changes every 30 minutes for us. A day is 30 minutes into the testnet, so we're actually about to have another day pop off here at 8:30, I believe. Yeah, the drop down here, you can choose X28, TitanX, ETH, USDC. I thought we really wanted to just tear down as many barriers as we can to get in. And so, here's the trick. There's really no special thing happening here other than, people can put in USDC, and it's going to run them through the process of if they were to do it on their own, right? So whatever cost involved in that, they're going to reflect in what your final number is, right? So just keep that in mind. It's got to go through the flow to get there, but we try to do it for them.
The way that it's set up, if you notice, X28 is at the top and USDC is at the bottom. So that's the higher gas cost is at the bottom. USDC, because of the route it has to take. USDC is going to go to ETH, TitanX, X28. So X28 is going to be your cheapest option because there is no transforms or routes. So if you come in with TitanX, you're going to pay a little bit more in gas, but you would have to pay it anyway if you're going to transform it, if that makes sense, right? So you're going to pay a little extra gas, but we're saving you an extra transaction.
Saving you time and ease. If you have ETH, you can come here and knock it out. Right?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about figuring out how to get TitanX and where to go or swapping and gas
exactly
or Uniswap fees and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just going to walk through a little bit more. So if you look to the right, that's our day 76, and you can claim it by the day right there, or at the bottom there's a select all, and you can claim all of your claims at once if you wanted to. And then
real quick while you're talking, I'm going to mint one just for the
okay, go ahead. So cycle details, you got your total smart burn power. So that's going to be your entire network has power total. And then to the right of that, that's your smart burn power. So you'll see that he's the last man standing on this day. He might be the only one mining because I've been sleeping, but it just switched. So he actually has all the smart burn power of the network right now. I might go mine real quick just to switch that. But so
BFX, you got 6 minutes.
Then you got your BFX available. So that's how much BFX is distributed for that day. That is available for distribution to the miners. Then you got your estimated BFX. So that if it was to close right now, that's how much BFX you would mine, right? Then your remaining smart burn power. So this is important when you're going through. So you'll be able to cycle backwards at the top where Rich was. If he cycles back, he can look at yesterday's remaining smart burn power. And that it's not that important when there's one user, but if you have 100 users.
Second finally has more. It's been a minute as we were just
see if you got one this one's got 5 users remaining. If one claimed, there'd be 4 remaining, and that remaining smart burn power would reflect how much smart burn power that user that claimed had, right? So if he had 100,000, then that remaining smart burn power would be 400,033, right? Then your vesting pool. So that's each day's vesting pool is that. So that vesting pool is for that day only, and then that next to it is your vesting bonus.
Yeah. So if I go to 66, you'll see it's going to change, right? 3.1.
Yep.
So every day lives on its own. That's probably the hardest thing to remember in this. And we'll show the bottom here in a second. But every day lives on its own, and it kind of has its own game theory behind it. So you can play it kind of different ways.
So yeah, you'll be able to see how many users are remaining. How much smart burn power for that day is left. You'll be able to see like the total vesting pool, your vesting bonus for each day. It's all so simple. You just click and. I mean, you might hit something where you have to do a little math in your head, like what's 2 times 5, but it's not going to be nothing crazy. So then, go ahead, Rich.
I was going to explain this one piece right here because this is interesting. This is an interesting one to see. How in the world do we have 3.1 million in the vesting pool when you can tell no one actually claimed early because there's nothing forfeited for the day? Well, our code is set to like the last man standing. Whenever that person claims, it gets forwarded to the next 8 days miners. Okay. So if I were to mine today, I could theoretically not only get a piece of what is available to mine, but I would actually be eligible for part of this 3.1. Now, if somebody were to have forfeited those days, that number would have been even higher. And so this is the example. This is a perfect one. This is the example of where a last man standing had some left over that went over to the pool. So kind of fun on that one.
Yeah, different ways to grow that vesting pool.
And the minting is 369 days, right?
368 is the cutoff. So 369 is, I guess, what you would call like phase 2, maybe, or it's almost like a reset.
Yeah, we went back and forth. Which one do we want to end on 369 or we want to start on 369? We wanted to start on 369 because that's kind of like a new, it almost becomes a new DApp at that point, right? It almost
the recycle pool takes over, and it's a significant day. So 369, we wanted to start fresh with that.
Cool.
And another thing about that, we love the fact that, everybody fretted, and I say fretted, not everybody didn't really fret, but, you had this whole what's going to happen on day 280 and all that stuff. We really wanted ours to be kind of a longer term play. And that's going to be something that'll be fun to kind of get there and see where we are. Like we have no clue what's going to be in the recycle pool. That would be fun,
Yeah. And one thing I'll add to it as well, with having such a longer mint period like you do, you have the ability to go in waves with the actual market, right? If it's high volume, low volume, you can catch different waves. And since you're bonded so tightly with things, it could really create a lot of, separate massive user events within Bonfire.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Especially one of those vesting pool days. We don't know. Nobody may claim. We don't know that, but if they do, if they claim early, you may have a massive pool that just at the end of the day, we don't know that, but it could be fun. That'll be a fun one. Who knows? Maybe it's day 56. Everybody's talking about, man, y'all need to go check this and see what happens. So that's kind of game theory. We were really happy to put some fun game theory in there. Just to, there's so many ways to play it. So, let's see here.
Yeah, and I like how everything is on the same page.
Go back up a little bit. Yeah, right, or up a little more. We'll just keep going through it one by one. So the summary, that's your mint cycle process or progress. Now, we don't necessarily, this is testnet, so these numbers here might be different, right? But 1 BFX equals this much X28, 1 BFX, that's your price. Total BFX supply that's minted, that has been minted, so 3.26 billion has been minted. This is the total BFX available. And we're going to put some tooltips on the DApp to where it's not necessarily, you just hover over it and it'll give you an explainer.
It'll look like this, but we'll have more detail in it.
So that's the BFX minted in the contract, but not claimed yet. So that BFX available, that's 448 million that hasn't been claimed yet. So that's what that number is. And then that's just today's deposits. You see it's all X28 because everything is transformed into it. So we're not going to count USD, ETH, and TitanX. Everything is transformed, and we just deposit in X28.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you want to not only be able to have any user in TitanX, join and participate, but you want it to be streamlined for outside investors. And they're like, hey, I don't even know what TitanX is, but I like what Bonfire is, So you just come in with Ethereum or USDC or whatever you have, and, just streamline, just straight up, like just get in there and everything does it for you. So even if it's like more of a gas fee, half the time they won't even really know. It's just like, oh, that's just how much it costs to get in, stuff.
Right. They're going to degen anyways. YOLO.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I had to get Ethereum to like go into something, I had to go. And so this actually came out of that pain point, man. I just want to go if I have USDC, that's another thing. But a lot of people keep a lot there. They want to go into it, go for it. You can do it here. You don't have to go to all these other places to do it. So, so we get to the buy and burn, obviously your normal things everybody's used to, right? You've got the whole, percent right here, 3.6 burned. That stuff everybody already knows. You can kind of see it'll show you the morph burn, the X28 burn, the E280 burn. But we also have this total that's in the recycle pool. It's kind of like it's not burned, but it's not out there. That's
it's stored. It's stored.
Yeah. And so,
and one thing I'll say as well with the recycle pool, especially me doing calculations on Flare with how the pool, the fact that you have a burn and it's almost like that is just delayed burning. It really is, right? I mean, it's going to hit the market eventually, but in reality, it just creates more participation over time. So it's like the more that's in that pool, the better it is. Really.
Yeah, it's a double burn. Think of it that way. I mean,